Coach Montgomery, the pride of Waco, North Carolina. Thanks for joining us here on BYU Sports Nation.
Hey, I'm so glad to be able to talk to you guys and welcome you guys from what I heard to North Carolina for the first time.
Yeah, that's a big thing for BYU football. Never been to either of the Carolinas, so the first matchup is with East Carolina, and this is an intriguing matchup to me. I feel a sense of desperation and desire for a win from both teams. What do you think of this matchup Saturday?
You know, the first thing I'll say about BYU is they're a very, very good football team. They have played one of the toughest schedules that have been known to man, really, just having to travel the way that you've had to travel. And Coach has done a good job of continuing to rally. He's had some injuries. But when you look at them on tape, you see some good, talented guys that are coached well and coached hard. They play through the echo of the whistle. But as far as we're concerned, yes, we're really, we need a victory. Our team has also played a tough schedule, and we've had some injuries that we've had to deal with, but neither coach, of course, is going to make any excuses or explanations on why we are where we are. We just have to go out and play a good football game.
Coach, what do you think of your team through 7 games? What really stands out to you?
You know, we got some talented, skilled players. There's no question about it. We need to be a little bit better in our offensive front due to a lot of different things. That we had some musical chairs there for some injury purposes, but we got to be better there. And then, you know, defensively, we've gone through a lot. We think that we're talented in our defensive front. We got to do a better job of tackling. There's no question on the perimeter and coverage responsibility in our secondary. And we really think that this is a team that can continue to grow and get better now that we are through seeing, I think, 5 of the 7 teams that we've seen, and maybe 6 of the 7 teams that we've seen have been ranked teams when we played them. That's a very, very tough start, especially when you're trying to build a program and really, my vision for the program is to grow these young men into productive guys that win every day. So we're working hard to get that product that our fans deserve back on the field. But I love this football club. They come to work every single day. It's not one of those teams that by any means looks around and points fingers. One of the closest football teams that I've been around, and you have to be close when you start the season the way that we started, and everybody's still on the same page and doing things the right way.
Let's talk about that schedule for a minute. James Madison, who, if people don't know, won the national championship in FCS, number 1 team. College game day was there last Saturday at West Virginia. Virginia Tech, you had a lead on them. South Florida, who's ranked. Temple. Central Florida, they're ranked. Now BYU comes to town. Both teams needing a win to try and stay alive for a bowl game. What's the conversation like with your team right now as you try to win this Saturday and then kind of keep it going in hopes of a bowl game?
You know, we're trying to win the day. That's what we're telling our kids. As long as we win every day leading up to Saturday, we will be fine. But we have to win the day. You know, and that means all of our kids need to be at every class. They need to be at treatment, twice before 9 a.m. We need to get them over here, and coaches need to win the meeting room and make sure that the information that we have, it doesn't matter what we know, is what we can teach. That we teach it to them in a way that's beneficial. Not only in the classroom, but when they hit the field. And then when we hit the practice field, we got to be locked in. And then after that, we still got to go have a great hydration, great dinner, and then great study hall and count this one as a win before we can get to tomorrow.
When you look at the matchup of the BYU offense versus the Pirate defense, probably safe to say that neither side of that equation is happy with the way things have gone so far this year. What do you think of the Cougar offense versus your defense this weekend?
You know, it's hard to really say. You know, we go against so many different looks. We haven't seen backs at this size. You know, we haven't seen some skill kids matched with backs this size. You know, looking at number 15 and number 3 with their speed and quickness on the interior, and then you look at the backfield with some of the size that you have in the backfield. We haven't really seen this combination. Usually, we see all speed, right? We don't see a sense of speed speed and power. So very hard to say. The one thing that we have to do is we have to be able to get people on the ground, especially big body types that, like 35 and like number 5 that we're just not used to tackling in our league a whole lot. And then, defensively, we also have to, as hard as it is to get those guys on the ground, you're trying to get multiple people to the ball. And because of, Mangum's ability to throw some of those seam routes on time and timing, he can displace our safeties with us in the fear of us not giving up a big play to those backs. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, but we're looking forward to the challenge. We're really, really excited to be able to play such an esteemed program and a program that's history that reaches back a while. And we're just happy to have a chance to be able to play against a good football team.
What's the weirdest part of looking at the defensive numbers right now for your team of allowing 50 a game and 600 yards? What's the weirdest part to you about that?
I think the weirdest part is that you look at 50 and you have to realize that the defense didn't give up 50 points. The team gave up 50 points. And that's what's really hard, defensively. The 600 yards, we got to eat every second of that. But, 50 points, you don't get 50 points by the defense just playing bad. You get 50 points by giving up a special teams touchdown. You give up 50 points by throwing a pick six. You give up 50 points by not maintaining the football on third down and giving the offense the chance to score. We're going to work to we're going to lower that hopefully every single week the rest of the year. And I think that we'll definitely do that. We're going to lower that every single week and work our tails off. But that 50, the weirdest thing about that is just knowing that that's not a defensive number. That's a team number.
Talking with Scottie Montgomery, head coach of the East Carolina Pirates. Your offense probably looking for more consistency, but the one thing that your team has been able to do on the offensive side of the football is throw the football. How would you describe your offensive situation right now?
We're really having to use our quarterback to create a good dose of the run game for us, which that's not something that we necessarily wanted to do coming in. Actually at the beginning of the year, with the guys that we had in camp, we thought that we were going to have a dominant run game, and that has not worked out. We've always been able to throw the football and catch the football, and we got some dynamic talent out wide. But to truly win games and to keep 50 points off the board, we've got to run the ball more consistently. That's our biggest issue right now. We're just not running the football as consistent as we need to.
Dynamic receivers on the outside, like you mentioned, Grayson, Brown, Williams, Johnson. These are some good players, especially Grayson. I see 26 plays of 25-plus this year. That's quite the number. What's led to so much explosive plays on offense, Coach?
I really think that people are, saying that as long as we stop the run with these guys, these explosive plays on offense won't be enough. As long as we can continue to get the ball back and we can try to outscore them. That's why we need to be able to maintain possession of the football a little bit better with the run game. But I really do think that, people have spilled their safeties down a lot more on us this year and have stopped us a lot more. But they're also accounting now for a quarterback in the run game, which gives us a chance to get better one-on-one matchups in our passing game.
Coach, I heard the other day that you were talking to the Pirate fan base, and you were letting them know we know the type of atmosphere that BYU is going to bring to the stadium.
Yep.
Want to make sure that the fan base comes out and supports your team. Why was that so important for you to get out?
The real reason is homecoming, and I always ask our fans to come out and support, but it's homecoming, and when you start getting to the last opportunities for a lot of our seniors, that's what's important to me. This is the last homecoming they'll ever be a part of. It's also a chance for everybody to come back, and we have not played as well, as we would have liked to play. I think a lot of people knew that we were going to have some struggles, but not to this point. And the atmosphere at Virginia Tech and some of the other atmosphere this year in the game was unreal. And we just want to show you guys exactly how we do football here. And it's your first time here. So we wanted to make sure we greet you guys with a great crowd, but also we get behind our school and serve our school colors and just have a great game on homecoming.
You always want to win the homecoming game, and it's, as you mentioned, the first trip ever for BYU football to the Carolinas. Coach Montgomery, we appreciate the time and look forward to Saturday's game.
Thank you. Have a great day.